Namaste to one and all. This is Dr. Hinduja Srichan from Sri Narayana Guru College of Commerce, Mumbai, India. On the occasion of 7th International Conference on Interdisciplinary Research for Sustainable Development, I would like to express my view on Sustainable Development Goal number 1, no poverty by 2030 from Indian perspective point of view. No poverty is a dream of each and every country to achieve by 2030. Indian government is also trying its level best to achieve this target by introducing various new schemes for poor people. But still, we are not able to achieve that targets because of certain difficulties, because of certain misconception. In this particular presentation, I'm going to express that what are the various flaws which we are facing, what are the various recommendations, and how we can achieve the objective of no poverty by 2030. United Nations has come out with the first SDG as no poverty by 2030. And keeping that thing in mind, Indian government has come out with various schemes to eradicate the poverty by the same year. And as a result, India got reduction in the number of people living below poverty line. In the year 93-94, there were 45.3% people living BPL. It became 21.9% in the year 2011-12. But the reality is different. So let us see the other side of coin. Global Hunger Index 2020 has given 94th rank out of 107 countries to India. Around 6.5% of total people of India lives in slums, and less than 50% people get clean drinking water. Child labor in India is not a hidden thing. 14% of the children are malnourished, and the health system is also not very good. So, what went wrong? Let's understand through this presentation. Let us understand what is the meaning of poverty. Poverty is hunger. Poverty is lack of shelter. Poverty is being sick and not able to access a doctor. Poverty is not having access to school. Poverty is losing child to illness brought about by unclean water. Poverty is powerlessness. As far as global condition of poverty is concerned, DI, that is Development Initiatives, a global organization, have expressed that there are 698 million people, which is approximately 9% of world population, are living in extreme poverty, who spends less than $1.90 per day, which is defined by World Bank. So if any person who is not able to spend $1.90 per day on the basic necessities will be termed as extreme poor. Not only that, DI also have expressed that during 2019 and 2020, the number of living in extreme poverty increased by an estimated 50 million due to COVID-19 pandemic. DI also have prepared one diagram that shows that how the people belonging to extreme poverty in world have declined from the year 2010 to 2019. But during 2019-20, it got increased to 740 million people, which is around 9% of the total world's population. These dotted lines are the expected or projected number of people who may belong to extreme poverty. In the year 2026, it is estimated that there will be 525 million people who will be belonging to extreme poverty, which will be 6% of the world population. Now, what is poverty in India? In India, the person who is able to satisfy the basic necessities and is able to purchase the goods which are required for poverty line basket, then he will not be termed as poor. But if the person is not able to satisfy the basic necessities like food, clothing, rent, convenience, and entertainment, will be termed as poor. These are the articles which are included in poverty line basket. The definition of poverty was given by Suresh Tendulkar. Suresh Tendulkar committee was appointed in the year 2004-5, and this committee has given the definition that if a rural person is not able to spend rupees 27 per day on the basic necessities, and in case of urban, if he is not in a position to spend 33 rupees per day, then he will be termed as a person belongs to BPL, that is below poverty line. So rupees 27 and rupees 33 were fixed as the baseline to calculate the poverty. As per this calculation, there are 21.9% people in India who live below poverty line in the year 2011-12. After this 11-12, there was no calculation, formal calculation did not take place. So even today, we are giving the reference of 21.9%. But since this particular committee was suffering from so many controversies, a new committee has been appointed under the chairmanship of Rangarajan. Rangarajan committee also have given certain suggestions, and they have increased the expenditure by rural person from 27 to 32, and as far as urban is concerned, it rose to 43 per day. So as per Rangarajan committee is concerned, if a rural person is not able to spend rupees 32 per day on the basic necessities, he will be termed as the extreme poor or living below poverty line. And in case of urban, if the person is not able to spend rupees 43 per day on the basic necessities, he will be termed as the person belonging to below poverty line. Now, based on this calculation, by taking the records of 11-12, it was estimated that there are 27.9% people who belongs to below poverty line, whereas Suresh Tendulkar's report shows 21.9%. That was because of this baseline. Under Suresh Tendulkar's committee, the amount was less per day per person, whereas C. Rangarajan has given the recommendations to increase the amount. Still, this particular committee's recommendations were rejected. As far as multidimensional poverty index is concerned, in the year 2011, Oxford University has come out with a multidimensional poverty index with the help of researchers Sabina Alcaray and James Foster, and they have given three basic dimensions of calculating the poverty. These three basic dimensions are health, education, and living standard. Health is again classified under two indicators, that is nutrition and child mortality. Education is again classified under two more indicators, that is year of schooling and school attendance. And living standards are further classified under six parameters. These are cooking fuel, sanitation, water, electricity, floor, and asset. Now, based on these three dimensions and total 10 indicators, the weightage has been allotted. Since there are three dimensions, so each and every dimension is having weightage of 1/3. There are total three dimensions, and each and every dimension is having total weightage of 1/3. Now, again, each and every dimension is further divided under certain indicators. So these indicators are the part of the total weightage. So like in health, there are two indicators and the weightage total is 1/3. So 3 multiply these two indicators comes as 6. So nutrition being the indicator of health is having weightage of 1/6. Similarly, child mortality is also having weightage of 1/6. Similar manner, education, the total weightage allotted is 1/3. And since there are only two indicators, so 3 multiplied 2 comes as 6. So year of schooling is having weightage of 1/6. School attendance is also having weightage of 1 upon 6. But the last dimension is having 6 indicators, and the total weightage for this particular dimension is 1 upon 3. So 6 into 3 comes as 18. Hence, we can say that each and every indicator of third dimension is having weightage of 1 upon 18. This is how the weightage has been given to each and every dimension and indicators. Now, let us assume that we are preparing a report card of India, that how much India is scoring as far as MPI is concerned, that is multi-dimensional poverty index. Now, this is a report card which has been prepared based on the information given by Niti Aayog, and as far as the weightage is given by the United Nations. Here we are having three dimensions: health, education, standard of living, and these are the indicators which are subdivided for the dimensions. Now, since there are three dimensions, so each and every dimension has been allotted 100 marks. So there are total 300 marks. Now here in health, total marks allotted are 100, and there are two indicators. So each and every indicator is having 50-50 marks. As far as education is concerned, total marks are 100, and again there are two indicators, so again 50-50 marks. But as far as standard of living is concerned, total marks are 100, and there are 6 elements. So for first 5 elements, 16 marks has been given, and the last element, which is most important, asset, has been allotted 20 marks. This is how the total marks allotted are 300. Now let us see that how much marks India has scored. As far as this particular column is concerned, this column shows that percentage deprived, that means people, those who are not able to enjoy this benefit, and the balance will be not poor. For example, nutrition. The Niti Aayog's report says that there are 37.60% people who are not having the sufficient nutrition which is required for daily life. So if 37.60 are deprived, that means the balance out of 100, 62.4 are not poor. These 37.60% will be termed as poor. Similarly, for child mortality, Niti Aayog found that there are 2.69% people who are deprived. That means the remaining 97.31 people are not poor, they are not deprived. So, like that, based on the information given by Niti Aayog, the marks have been allotted based on this figure, and as far as the not poor figures are concerned. Now, what had happened? Now, let us say in nutrition, marks allotted are 50 and not poor are 62.4. So, what we have done, we have taken 62.4 percentage of 50. So, we derived as 31.20. So, 31.20 are the marks scored under nutrition out of 50. Similarly, for child mortality, 97.31 are the marks scored. So 97.31 percentage of 50 comes as 48.65 marks out of 50. Similarly, the marks have been calculated for other indicators, and the total marks which has been scored by India are 237.65. If we convert this 237.65 marks out of total 300, we get the percentage of 79.22 percentage. So we can say that India has performed around 80 percentage, but that is not sufficient. India have to score 100 percentage, because the aim is of no poverty. No poverty means 100%. So over here, not poor, everywhere we have to score 100 percentage. Everywhere for percentage deprived should be 0 percentage, and then only we can say that we are achieving the objectives. But again, there are certain things which we have to discuss before relying on this particular information, 79.22 percentage passing. So let us see that what are the various indicators which we have to keep it in mind. There are certain things. In one of the interview, Mr. Naresh Chandra Saxena, who is former Secretary of Planning Commission, that if we would have used MPI in the year 2011-12, then we would have got 54 percentage of population living under BPL, whereas the committee, the Tendulkar committee, which has been, which has given the results of 2011-12, they said that there are only 21.9% people who belongs to BPL, whereas here Naresh Chandra is saying that if he would have applied this MPI in the same year 2011-12, it would have been 54 percentage. So more than half of the population was belonging to BPL, whereas in the recent time it has come to 40%, but even this 40% is also alarming situation. In one of the interview, Professor Anand Pradhan also opined that changing definition and by calculating poverty based on certain parameter is also insufficient. That means whatever 10 parameters or indicators which we are using, these things are insufficient. They need some improvement into that. So something very serious has gone wrong, which needs to be found out. Let us find out some other significant information. India is top milk producing country and second in vegetables and fruits. Still, Global Hunger Index 2020, where 107 countries were surveyed, India was banked with the 94th rank. And at the same time, the same report, we can say that 14% of children of India are malnourished. There are 25,778 government hospitals for 21.9% of population who live below BPL, and that number comes as 28 crore 47 lakhs. So for 28 crore 47 lakhs people, those who live below poverty line, we have only 25,778 government hospitals. 95% children only go to primary school, and from this also only 60% children go to studies after 9th class. This is estimation of around 3 crore children who have not seen the school and their parents send them to work for the family. More than 50% of wealth of the country is owned by 1% of the population. 13% of the population don't have access to electricity. UNICEF has reported that less than 50% people in India gets clean drinking water, and 6.5% people of total lives in slums. All these are very disturbing things, but we cannot deny that. So the report card which we have prepared, where India has scored 79.22 percentage, this particular information cannot be dependent. So we can say that it is not correct at all. Now, what could be the roadmap for India to eradicate poverty? This roadmap is allotted to the four role players. These role players are policymakers, government department, general public, and public and private sector. The policymakers needs to modify the parameters and indicators in such a manner that we should be in a position to calculate the real picture of poverty, not only of India, but of any country. The government departments also have to make rigorous campaigning of the schemes which are made by government so that it should reach out to the people, those who really needs it. The public and private sector also should give equal chances to all the people based on economic ground and not based on other ground. And at the same time, the general people like you and me also have to get some involvement as common people to make the people aware about the schemes which are available for the poor and needy people, and we should help them to come out from the poverty. So let us promise that this time the poverty will be eradicated not only from the records or in the form of figures, but in real terms, and that requires the involvement of the people. I hope I have made justification with my presentation. Your queries and suggestions are always welcome. Abhar.